now?
I'm prepared.
We're back again. Another week. Another episode.
Yeah.
Hopefully no Facebook Live issues this week.
We'll have some. It's not the same if we don't have technical problems. I mean,
that is mostly true. There's always some kind of problem. There's always some kind of problem. Last week Facebook Live just kicked us off for no reason at all.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just booted us off.
Catalina. Hey. So I succeeded 2 out of 3, man.
That's not bad.
Yeah, this one's up.
This is
the one that needs mama to put her to bed. Kelly, say hi. Kelly, say hi. They can see you. Yeah.
Hi.
That's John, and that's Josh. Say
What's
hi.
up?
You want to go nunny, huh? You want to lay down over here? Then when mommy comes home, she'll take you upstairs? Is that a good idea? Okay, let me put it. Oh, she's showing you her teeth.
Oh, nice.
The dentist today. She got them perfect.
Oh.
Right? Perfectly clean teeth. Right?
That's amazing.
Tell them, I'm a winner. Go put your arms up. Say, I'm a winner. Put your arms up in the air, Catalina. Show them how to do it. Say, I'm a winner. Catalina, say, I'm a winner.
She's thinking about it. She's like, maybe I'm a winner, but I don't know about these two guys. She doesn't want to make us feel bad.
Is that what it is, Catalina?
Oh, it is that.
Oh, here's the other one. You brought him out to sleep. Oh, yeah, tell him I'm a winner.
I'm a winner.
Future world champion.
Yeah.
There it is. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Awesome.
That's it. I'm a winner. Now your turn, Eliana.
I'm a winner.
No,
All right.
I'm a winner. You know what winners need to do? Winners need to get good sleep so their body grows stronger.
That's true.
Right? So what you need to do right now, you know your body gets stronger when you sleep. You know that,
I know, but Catalina woke me up.
Catalina woke up. Okay. So Catalina, let's go upstairs. You're gonna do Nani. And then Eliana's gonna do Nani.
I told you that your mommy comes, so her gonna bring me upstairs.
Okay, so I'm gonna lay you down on a pillow, okay?
I want to lay with you.
No, Eliana, I need you to go upstairs. You go to school tomorrow. Okay, quickly go upstairs. Let's see who makes it. Thank you for being a great listener, Eliana.
This is already the best show ever, man.
It's true.
I knew it was too easy.
I love it. This is great. This is like this is like we're actually getting like season 2 Game of Arms right here. It's like the reality.
Yeah, season 2 right here.
You know, it's the best.
I need you to lay down. You know me. You want to run up and get your blankie?
You need a blanket.
Get your
You
blanket.
definitely have to have that.
No, you have to, because I got to stay here and act like we're doing something. Yeah. You know, we actually started filming season 2.
Yeah.
I know, man. What the heck? You think we'll ever see those episodes?
I mean, if another network picks it up, I mean, now know what happened is AMC bought out another network, and I think the agreement, the only way that the other network agreed to them being bought is that AMC sticks to being the scripted network,
Right.
and not reality TV. So I guess whatever. I think it was some other network from England, is what I heard.
Is that right?
So it was kind of like what the contractual thing was, and yeah. And they had like 20 reality TV shows. It's just like overnight they were all gone.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've heard like little bits and pieces about those episodes. Everybody's like sworn to secrecy, but we've heard like little this, little that. It sounds like they were awesome.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed from the perspective of my winning streak for season 2. Team New York was just like not owning up, man.
Oh.
It was like so I was all right with that. Yeah, there was a whole debacle because we went up against Louisiana.
Yeah.
And Louisiana, Travis made it to Team Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
There was a whole little debacle that occurred, like with the way we were lined up, who's going to arm wrestle who.
Yeah.
So it's all good, man.
So all in all, you were kind of happy
interesting
that
stuff happened in front of that camera. I'll say that.
Yeah.
The world will never know.
Maybe it'll come out in like some Blu-ray for season 1 with the extras or something.
No, I
wish they would, man.
If season 2 comes out, we're gonna start fresh, man.
Gotcha.
Gotta start fresh, right, Catalina? Right, Catalina? Right. You're gonna have to
It's
go.
a good time to start it, man. You're kind of on you're on a roll right now.
Yeah.
Why is Mommy on the
Because you're supposed to be in bed. You want to go in bed, and when Mommy comes up, she's gonna come upstairs and lay with you. Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
That's a good idea, right? All right, go. There you go. Climbing. Oh, watch your feetsies. I'm gonna tell Mommy to come upstairs and lay with you when she comes. Okay? Is that a good idea? Okay. Gotta go upstairs.
This is what you have in front of you, John. Just be aware, man, because this is what happens.
But someone's got babies.
No, not yet. He's saying I'm always the only one that doesn't have kids, so he's always picking on me.
My son was just upstairs when he said, "Who's on your show tonight?" And I said that you were on. He's like, and he immediately imitated your face that you always do on TV. He was like, "That guy," and I was like, "Yeah, you should come down to that face because he loves it." Man.
So how do we know we're live right now and there's people on board, or where we at?
We are live. People are watching. We got people watching on Facebook and YouTube, and they're mostly saying that this is awesome and this is hilarious and stuff like that.
You're a hit so far.
Yay! Hey, I'm a winner. Future world champion right here. There you go. All right. Future world champ, right, Catalina?
Yeah.
Are you a future world champion? That's right. Are you strong? Say, I'm strong. Let's show me your muscles.
Yeah, flex off.
Show me muscles.
Do it.
Hell yeah.
There it is.
Do it the right way. Okay.
So, yeah, questions for you and her. You can both answer them. So, like a game of arms, they showed you doing some kind of training stuff, but some of the people we talked to said that they were just like, do something, and a lot of people didn't really do, like on the show, what they do for real. Like, what does your training look like? I mean, for you when you're in season, when you're, like ramping up for WAL or whatever, what do you do in an average week?
I mean, a lot of my training's in the gym. I manipulate every single machine that they have at the gym. I'm using leg machines for arm wrestling workouts. I manipulate all the machines and just turn them into arm wrestling machines. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. A lot of cable work, but I'll also get behind machines and I'm pushing them this way, pulling them that way.
Yeah.
Just manipulate all the machines. I know the pressures that I need to develop, so I'll line my body up on a machine. I'll just create the pressure I want. Like if I want to work this way, I'm going to find the machine where I'm working this way. If I want to work this way, I'll make the machine. I'll manipulate my body to make it work that way.
So do you change the amount of time that you spend in each of those directions depending on like how you're feeling or where you feel your weaknesses are, or do you have a standard routine you follow?
I'm very far from standard, man. Like I wish, it's like I wish I was the guy that like wrote stuff down and kept track of my numbers and know when I'm, getting stronger and look at my track record. I respect the guys that do that. I'm a science teacher that's supposed to teach everyone how to do that, but I don't practice.
Yeah.
I'm happy to get to the gym. I got 3 kids, obviously, and when I get to the gym, I'm psyched. Kelly, we can't touch anything there. And but I can't complain. I mean, I've got a kids club over there. I put the kids in, and I got my 2-hour workout every day.
That's awesome.
I also have my garage that I got a whole bunch of equipment in there. Uh-huh. At the moment, I've got an overflow of equipment in there, so I got to like get a shed and put like half the stuff out there.
Yeah.
Matt. So I'll also revamp that garage and turn that into the Mecca arm wrestling gym.
And it's my basement for me because I bring little things up one by one. My wife is like, "All right, that's enough." You can have a shot put, you can have whatever that stupid thing is, but you can't bring up those 3 top rollers and everything else too. So like I can have like 3 pieces of equipment upstairs. The rest has to stay in the basement.
Oh, you got them upstairs. You're doing good.
Just like one at a time, I sneak them up, and then they'll be like critical mass, and she'll be like, "All right, get that stuff out of here." Sorry, John, I interrupted you. What were you about to say?
Yeah, I was just wondering, how often do you train on the table, or if at all?
I haven't been. I mean, the times I go to Ron Clumber's or the tournaments.
Daddy loves me.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, arm wrestling, it's like I need a break from arm wrestling. It's like I got a recovery after an arm wrestling practice. I work out at the gym. I could do that every day.
Yeah, I remember
I'll work out.
Yeah.
One day I'm going to work inside pressure. Another day I'm going to work back pressure. Another day I'm going to work tricep. You know, some guys are like one day chest, one day shoulders, one day biceps, one day triceps. I'm like one day tricep press, one day back pressure, one day I'm pulling this way, and that's how I change it up. Another day I'll focus on grip, and that's how I kind of like give my arms time to rest. But I'm pretty much hitting the arms.
Yeah, I remember talking with you a bit about that at the WAL event that I went down to that you ran last year.
Yeah,
because we had practiced the week before. We had practiced that week before, and I remember I went in and entered, and you were like, "I'm not entering today. I'm still a little beat up from that last week because you hadn't pulled in so long."
Yeah,
and you were telling me that you build better in the gym now. It takes too long to recover after a practice because when you practice, like, you're like any one of us. You can't just go halfway. You pull until you're dead.
Yeah.
So it takes a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out for 2 weeks if I go hard. And I guess, these guys that practice with guys that are weaker than them, and they're going to go ahead and get the repetitions and use their arms for that. It's great. Like, I'm sure that's what Devil Lorette does. He mixes up his arm wrestling workouts with arm wrestlers. And, it's a two-way thing. He gets a lot out of that. They get a lot out of that. But he's also working out every single day with his 100 different types of exercises he does, whether it's cable or bungees or weights, whatever he's doing.
Right.
But he's training with guys that, he's above. So he's not going to stress himself.
Yeah, you can kind of dictate the stress. You can, if you feel great, you can kind of be like, okay, two-hand me, rip me open. Or if he's feeling a little beat up, you can be like, I'm just going to hold all day.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the way. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I mean, that's another angle. I'm contemplating actually setting up a practice in my garage, but I've contemplated it for the last 2 years. So I'm just kind of sticking to where I know I'm getting stronger.
Yeah.
Regularly.
Does your program or whatever your mindset is, does it change as you're getting closer to something big like the finals or regionals?
Oh, definitely. I mean, can you still see me? I disappeared, right?
A little bit.
Oh yeah, Catalina, you gotta turn that light back on. There you go. Okay. I mean, awesome. Just my focus. Like, I'll feel myself peak and just get really tight.
Sure.
I'll tell you, before the regionals, my back was bugging me. Like, I was just like tightening up and cramping in the back. But come time into the finals, luckily I was healed. And it had a lot to do with how I performed in the finals and in the regionals. Can you use that a little, please?
You made me turn that off.
Okay. You're going to leave it just like that now, right?
I want to turn it off.
You want to turn it off and then turn it back on?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Okay. Thank you. High five. All right. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Right now, I'm just trying to, keep myself as strong as possible always. And figure out, what supplements I'm going to take that actually, get me maintaining strength. Whether it's creatine or just trying to find... I'm getting into, different types of mushrooms, reishi mushrooms and cordyceps.
Okay.
Maca root. Yeah. I'm just trying to, feel all those different supplements out to, really maintain strength.
Yeah.
It's you kind of desensitize them, and I felt that. I was taking a great...
Everybody
I was, taking this stuff feeling amazing. Taking maca root, cordyceps, reishi, and polyrachis ants. Literally, they ground up ants. I'm just yeah, what the heck, let me try it. I'm I'll spend hours on the internet researching it. And I got on it, was doing great, but it's kind of you hit that plateau, and then they tell you, get off it and get back on it. So, but mushrooms, maca root, it's just trying to feel it all out, just keep myself where I need to be. I mean, I'm 41 years old, so...
So you're more of you're trying to stay consistent throughout the year rather than trying to peak and fall and
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah,
I need to get there and stay strong.
I'm in the picture.
Oh, you see this?
So So a bunch of people talking about you right now, Mike, particularly. What do you walk around at, and why don't you try to make 165? They're asking.
165.
That face is why.
Well, half the people are like, "There's no way he can make 165. Look how muscular he is," and the other half is saying, "Well, he's 5'10. He should be able to make it." Yada yada yada. So.
Yeah, I mean, but it's quality of life.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, arm wrestling is huge. Like, I love arm wrestling. Yes, arm wrestling is a big part of my life, but I'm not gonna walk around uncomfortable, to be 165. It's just I don't want to be 165. That's the bottom line. I feel I could get myself stronger. I don't think I plateaued. I do not feel like I plateaued in the game of arm wrestling. I'm like right there for dominating the left arm. And I'm like right there for getting up there with the right arm. So
right.
It's a mindset for me. It's a mindset.
What do you walk around at?
I weigh 200 right now. If I jump down the scale, I'll wake up in the morning and weigh 200 pounds. So I'm just having, I'm losing 5 pounds to make that weight class.
Right.
I'd like to beef up, but it's not that easy to beef up.
No.
Figure out how to do it. Yeah.
Well, that's actually, RBJ and you share that. You both walk around pretty close to 200. Storm Chelino also does that, and he was just posting yesterday that he's weighing at 203, fully clothed. So I think it's a smart way to do it. We talk about a lot on this show, Mike, about how much stress it puts on your body, cutting weight, especially, Tony Kotowski's cutting 25, 30 pounds, Todd Hutchings doing the same thing. And it takes a toll on you, and you are miserable for quite a long period of time trying to do it. So
yeah, and not only that, then you're gonna sit there and just if I don't feel as strong, there's that whole mental piece that I just don't feel dealing with. If I did it before, if I did it like 20 times before, then maybe I consider it. I've never done that. I remember, I'm gonna say probably about 12 years ago, I'll probably say 10 years. I mean, I've weighed the same. I used to make 187s. Like 187 I can make without killing myself. I can just change up. I can make 187s. But I remember once just sitting in a sauna and just drinking water and sweating, drinking water, sweating. And I remember weighing 176 pounds when I got on the scale. Just wanted for the fun of it to see if I could do it.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was after an arm wrestling tournament actually, and I was in their sauna and they had a scale there. And I mean, I stepped on that scale. I'm like, shit, I can make 176.
Right.
Well, I don't care to. I just don't care to.
Yeah, we were talking about that maybe a few weeks ago. There's really nowhere to run to, though.
This is awesome.
Exactly.
What's the point, in a way? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the 165 is the stack class just as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
So.
And if you're right there in the 95s, then what's the point? And you said you hadn't, you didn't feel like you had peaked arm wrestling. Do you feel like you've peaked mentally arm wrestling?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I will say that, look, a 41-year-old body is not doing what a 26-year-old body could do from the chemical perspective, but, it's like a 41-year-old has been controlling their body for that much longer, and that's the benefit, that's the advantage that I have. So I'm still figuring out how to do all that.
You seem to be pretty good at multitasking.
I'm learning right now. Look at this. I'm training every stops, man. It's all good.
Yeah, it is all good.
This is actually a workout too, no lie, man. They're like,
it's a good neck workout. I've been there, man. My son's 9 now, so he doesn't pull that anymore, but I used to get a good neck workout from that.
Yeah. On my way home. Wife is on the way home, so.
That's all right.
Get on her.
No, it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good. So, I remember watching when I first started arm wrestling. It was 1987, 88, and I remember seeing you at Yukon Jack. I feel like in the 90s. Was that in the 90s? I don't remember. Anyway, it was a long time ago. So you've been in it for a long time. And, we talked to very few people that have actually arm wrestled as long as you have. It's most of the guys that are around today haven't been around as long as you. So why do you think that you've been able to, be around so long and at the top of the game the whole time? I mean, what keeps you going that other people don't have?
It's a passion. I got right into the sport at the beginning and just somehow I'll tell you how, when I started, it used to always be on flyers. You would see like an arm wrestling flyer and like, all right, let me go to that tournament.
Yep.
And I remember seeing a flyer and it was in Albany. I was like, all right, cool. I got someone to give me a ride. It was 3 hours away. I went to that tournament. It said nationals on it, but that didn't mean anything to me because it's like there was the WPAA, World Professional Arm Wrestling Association, that was in the world. So I go to nationals. I dominated the nationals left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and everyone's like, yo, who the heck is this guy? Like, I went in there in 1986, dominated the nationals left-handed. I ended up second place right-handed to Bill Brezink.
Okay.
And I'm like, whoa, okay, I just won the nationals. I qualified for the Worlds, went to World Championships, got second place left-handed.
Where was the Worlds that year?
And the Worlds was in Virginia Beach that year.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's I just stepped into it and always had a belief that I could be the best, meaning like the best. And I think a lot of guys get into the sport and they put everybody else like at this level way the heck up there, and they see themselves way down here. I never got into the sport like throwing everybody else at a pedestal. I just got into the sport saying to myself like, yo, I want to be the best, and that's it, I'm going to do it. I just never created a mental barrier.
Do you feel like...
I think that's got a lot to do with it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I believe that's to be the case, too. And did you... I've seen a lot of older video of you, and you were a lot more physically energetic before the match. And now I can kind of see that you kind of rein that in to be a little more internal. You get everything you want, but it's not so in your face, screaming in your opponent's face. Is that something that you that just happened slowly over time, or was it something that you actually thought about?
I mean, being in the sport longer, I used to go after a tournament, I'd have like huge black and blues on my hips, I'd have black and blues all over the place. You got like all this erratic energy. Yeah. It's like now I'm a lot more contained and know where I need to be. Like I had huge black and blues on my hips. I've got a big bulge on my hip from fracturing my hip all the times from arm wrestling, and it's kind of like you're up at the table and you got like some spastic motion and stuff like that. You're like all over the place. That's the thing. When you've been arm wrestling for the years, you kind of like learn your position, learn where you got to be, and just like get the finesse and smoothness to it. So I think it comes from like really understanding your body more and more and understanding what you need more and more. That's
one thing that I've always found fascinating about you, Mike, is like when you're gripping up with people. Obviously, you're not a guy who's going to settle for a grip he's not 100% comfortable with. But I feel like you have a very high level mental game that you play with people, because you can see them getting more and more frustrated when you keep changing things a little bit, and they pull out over and over again, and you pull out, and like you can just see it impacting them. And they start to get more and more angry, and then they get rasher and rasher. And towards the end, when the match actually goes, they're at a huge disadvantage. So is that something you've developed over time, or were you always like that?
I mean, I say I've always been like that, just like knowing what I need. But when things here's my experience, just like from like what's actually happening at the table perspective. I'll always set up, and everyone says like, "Yo, I'm sitting there cheating the grip," but I'll set up. I'm going to keep my elbow down at the pad, and I got my hand in a position wherever I need it to be in order for what I know I need.
Yep.
And my opponent's always doing this and lifting their elbow and trying to grip me. And I always tell them like, "Look, my elbow's down. I'm going to keep my elbow down. You keep your elbow down, and let's get a grip." Because it's like we shouldn't be. I mean, if I did that, then you would feel completely uncomfortable, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I'll set my elbow down, and I can get my grip, and that's because I do. I know how to manipulate my hand and get what I need, without lifting my elbow up and going crazy. So, and that's something that I've mastered. Did I answer that question?
Yes. I just like watching it.
People say I'm cheating the grip, but meanwhile it's my opponent that's lifting his elbow to like grab me. It's like, no, grab, let's go. Like right there, I'm good to go. So since we're talking about grips, I got a couple of questions coming in about Nicholas Nonestad, obviously. So I think everybody saw those matches. They're pretty awesome, and he obviously has a massive forearm in terms of height. And there's a question here from Conrad asking you, how much of a leverage advantage do you think he has, and what do you need to change to beat him next year? Okay, so his leverage advantage is huge. I mean, if you look, he arm wrestles very similarly. His style is very similar to my style, except he has an obvious advantage that no matter how much I work out, I'm not going to get my arm to grow to that height. It's not going to help. He's all about trying to take his opponent's wrists and, getting him back, and he could sit here comfortably. And once he gets here, he's very comfortable in that position. I'll sit there and wait him out.
Right.
What do I need to do? I just really need to just dive in. I just need to dive in on him and just pull him away from his body is what I need to do. And that's not necessarily something that I really, really train, but am I going to change up that training? Yeah. I'm going to get real strong at driving in and just I always look for back pressure. If I go in a hook, I'll deal with the hook, but that's not what I'm going to go after. That game, that's where I'm going to change. I'm going to start diving into hooks because I'm going to build that strength in there. So I'll dive into a hook with him is what I get to do.
That's actually a question from Alex, who's in Thurlock. He just asked, why do you prefer the top roll over the hook?
It's just, it makes for a faster match. It's you're at a tournament, you got to win your matches fast. If you catch someone quick, you're more ready for the next match. If you go in a hook, those matches are not as fast. So it's about having the game plan to win the tournament, not having the game plan to win the match. It's one thing if it's a super match, and that's a whole different game. If you're at a tournament, you better beat that guy faster than your opponents are beating their guys.
Yeah, and I remember the video, we were talking about it a little bit before we went live, of you pulling, it was 8 classes, right, in Connecticut?
Yeah.
And I remember you took an early loss left-handed to Kurt Howgate. And you tried top rolling with him, and you just couldn't do it, in the straps. And then in the finals, you came back and you hooked him twice.
You got you got a better memory than I thought I won that first one. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, so it's exactly. You know what? His height didn't allow me to get that back pressure. And Kurt Halligan's got a strong hand.
Very, very strong. And great
really
straps.
Strong.
Yeah.
And, I remember that you just brought me right back. I didn't, my back pressure didn't take his hand is what it all came down to. His hand is king. It happens sometimes. It's you hit someone back pressure and they just train their hand so well that it doesn't go. But then, you hit them over here and you're oh, whoa, wait a second. That arm is a lot easier than the hand.
Yeah, sometimes when you play the hand game and they don't turn too, you try to get everything and you don't get it. And then you attack the rotation when they're palm up, it's all of a sudden, I might even be able to get my hand back now. You know what I mean?
This amazing path that just opened up. And that's exactly, you totally brought me back to that, yeah. And that's just, I was savvy enough to pick it up at the tournament. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Well, that's like you were talking about earlier, just experience, I mean, the years add up and you come up with more and more tricks and you're able to use your strength more effectively than people that haven't been doing it as long. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just like watching you arm wrestle because, John is a real student of arm wrestling, probably better than I am by a significant amount. But I'm learning little by little, pick up all the tricks you guys do, and you're one of the people I watch over and over again for that reason. And I like, Jamie's asked me, ask you a question here from Jamie Sheldon. First of all, he says he's sorry his dad bugged you at finals.
Oh, his dad's awesome, man.
Yeah, but he's I don't know if you noticed this. I don't think you're on Facebook too much, Mike. But there was some negativity, I guess, last couple of days about the lack of information about what's going on this upcoming year in WAL, and I guess he's just curious about your opinions about WAL, where it's going, and you looking forward to this year? Are you excited about it? That kind of stuff.
Absolutely looking forward to it. It's walking on sunshine, man. I mean, where I'm at is I took second place 2 years in a row. So if that doesn't make an athlete burn, then, I'm definitely taking the game to another level.
Yep.
Yeah.
I haven't plateaued because I see myself getting better. So I'm curious, what are people complaining about the WAL? It kind of pisses me off when you hear this. People don't realize, holy shit, man, the sport of arm wrestling's been fighting for the main stage for years and years and years. Here we are, man. We got it. It's everything and anything that I can do to take the WAL to the next level, I'm going to do it because this is what I love. I put so many hours and hours, whatever hours, man. I'm not even going to count with hours, days and days of time and effort throughout the years.
Right.
And, for what? We all wish for that, the spotlight. You know what? Here's our opportunity to get the spotlight.
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious too because I haven't heard any of it either.
Well, I'll tell you what. So I'll tell you the quick little history about it, Mike. The last, say, up until about 4 or 5 months ago, the complaints were, the rules suck, I don't like the starts, there's not enough weight classes, all that kind of stuff. And then, after the shows came on, they were even better received than they were last year. And now it's like, how come they're not announcing the new tournaments? How come they're not saying where I can qualify? So people are complaining about not having enough information so that they can go compete at WL. So it's, obviously it's having an impact. The work you're doing and everybody else is doing. Like it used to be the WL sucks because the rules are stupid, that kind of stuff. And it's all about TV. They don't care about the sport. And now it's like, I want to get on the show.
Yeah. So, do the rules suck? I mean, am I 100% aligned with the rules? No, I like rules the other way because I can manipulate a lot more with the rules not being the way the WAL is. That's the reality of it. But at the same time, they are trying to set it up as fair as possible. They've taken away my ability to kind of get as much as I can at the grip. So I guess I don't like that. But am I going to sit here and argue against it and say, okay, I'm not doing the WAL because the rules aren't? Look, you want to be good at something. There's certain things you can change and certain things you can't change. The one thing that you can't change is you can change yourself. You could change the way you look at things. But some people want to just sit there and look at something and find a reason to complain because that all of a sudden is going to give them the righteousness. Oh, you know what? Their rule sucks, so I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. You know what? Truth of the matter is you probably would have gotten your ass kicked if you went there, and that's why you're not doing it. Own up to the truth. And, stop throwing excuses out there because it's bullshit. Step yourself up to what is out there. This is the level of competition. Step yourself up to that level of competition and bring your best, man. And just train yourself to be the best you could be. And if the rules are as such, you know what? Figure out how to work with those rules to get to where you want to be. That's how I see it. So I'm not one that's going to find something to complain about and let it hold me back.
Right.
I'll change what I could and deal with what I have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the way I look at it too is, you don't have to necessarily like the rules, and if it's a real change that needs to happen, enough arm wrestlers will express it, and it'll probably be heard. And just be patient. Like things change. If something changes in 2 years, it's really not that long of a time. But to us, for some reason, we've arm wrestled for years and years and years with nothing, no payback. We've been patient, waiting for that, but we can't be patient for these changes to come through. Yeah,
I mean, it's an opportunity that stands before us. It's when I was 16 years old, getting into the sport, like there was no WAL that I could go after, but yet I still kept going. The Worlds was what I was going to go after, and that drove me to train because I wanted to win the Worlds. Now there's a bigger spotlight, man. Holy cow! It's like you get $20,000 payday. That's a great day's pay. It's like if I was 16 getting into the sport now, it's like you got even that much more incentive to train your ass off and get into it and get addicted. Get addicted. It's a great sport, man. It's great.
Yeah, you're getting some love on here from some people about your attitude. Earlier when we posted we were going to be interviewing you, there were a couple people that, kind of like when we interviewed Travis, like, oh, he's all talk, yada, yada, yada. But people forget, that you do have a mental game, without a doubt, that's probably more advanced than most people, and that's always going to piss off a certain percentage of people. But, like you just said, you got second place 2 years in a row. Travis obviously won this year, so it's like I think people sometimes look past you, Mike, because they think that you're more talk than skill. Do you feel like have you feel like you have to deal with that? That's something you hear.
I think
people say that about you. People say, oh, he's always got this game, that game. But I feel like people that do that, in my opinion, they don't pay attention to the way you arm wrestle and to the results that you have. So I think they like to dismiss people like you and Travis because you're louder than others instead of paying attention to your skills on the table.
Yeah, I mean, Travis and I think got awesome skill at the table. I mean, I'm really, there's a whole technical aspect that I see on that table. And that's what helps me win. Like I could watch someone arm wrestle and just like by seeing that position, I could see exactly the pressure they're putting.
Yeah,
I was able to do that when I first started the sport. No, You know, but it's like you could see a stance and you could tell like what they're going for. You could see a stance, like every single different thing, like the location of their shoulder, the location of their arms, all these things dictate what they're going for. And you know, you're in the sport for 20 some odd years, you start realizing things even at a subconscious level, man. You don't have to analyze it, and it's really cool. And there's a level of knowingness that comes from longevity of the sport and just like being in it for 20 some odd years and just staying in it. So skill, technique, experience, strength, willingness, mindset.
Yeah, I think anybody who dismisses technical ability and the ability to control what's going on at that table as anything less than great, I think is just out of their mind. You have to have the power to execute that technique, second of all. Also, there's no more satisfying feeling than being at the table, even in training, and knowing what your opponent's going to do before they do. There's nothing better than that. And also, like someone like Mike, you know, you've shown up over the years. You've always stepped up to challenges. You've always stepped up for matches. I don't know how anybody can ever discredit like more talk than skill. I don't know what the hell that even means. Like if you think that, you're out of your mind.
That's seriously. The world we live in, man. You know, anybody who has a voice can make it loud on social media these days. But I mean, if you think about it, you know, we talk about our sport being somewhat of a martial art. Yeah. And like Sun Tzu, The Art of War. I mean, you know, Musashi, Miyamoto, the samurai, like he would show up late to a duel on purpose just to get the other guy agitated. Similar to what you do, Mike, you know, when you're really making it hard for them to get a grip, and then by the time the fight actually starts, they're already out of it. Yeah. To me, that just shows you that you have an understanding of the game that's above what most people do, and that's the kind of thing that will upset a certain percentage of people who watch it because they don't find it to be traditional or what have you. But I mean, it is kind of meaningless in the sense because, you know, you're getting second place up there and you got beat by one guy and it was a good match. I mean, and most of the people that have stuff to say, I don't even know their names. So that tells you something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. You were talking about like getting in their head and pissing them off. You know, Travis said, you know, he's like, I like when I bring my game to tables, and then he likes when they get mad because as soon as they get mad, that just gave me the right to get mad. You know, my attitude's always been, I want to get them mad, getting them pissed off, because as soon as they get mad, they're going to start making stupid mistakes, and I'm going to keep my cool.
Exactly.
And, you know, let them make their mistakes, because you get mad, and now you think you're like this beast strength, and you're going to do this stupid move, and I'm just going to keep my cool and be like, you know, and just finessely take it. So one thing I think I'm good at is I could put on the mad game, but really internally maintain my cool. You know, and I'll tell you, against Todd Hutchins, way back in 2004, like I won that Nationals. He was definitely the stronger man when I beat him on ESPN back in 2004. That dude was definitely a stronger man, but he lost his cool because I got mad, but I really maintained my cool internally. And that's a game I've always been playing.
Yeah, so. I mean, and also, you know, getting people mad, it's almost a byproduct. Like I don't know if you ever do go to the table going, I'm going to get this guy angry, or if it's just your focus is getting them angry. I don't know, but you know, but it's probably half and half. But really, what you're doing too is the mistakes that they're making are really just showing you where they're going. And it can be fouls and stuff like that too. But you really, I mean, if you know what your opponent's going to do, you know, you might not be consciously thinking about it. You're sensing it. It's your second nature now. You've been doing this for so long, you know, that you can feel what's going on. So that's a big mistake too. If they show you where they're going, that's the worst thing that you can do to an opponent. So you know, it's just that kind of skill to be able to sense what's going on, to be able to maintain a plan longer than your opponent is in every single sport an attribute. So I don't know why it wouldn't count here.
Yeah. But if you think about it, John, that's absolutely true. But in every sport where people do that, there's always a percentage of people that it just drives them nuts. They just can't stand it. You know what I mean?
Good.
They just, because they don't know how to deal with it, or they don't, you know, they can't do it themselves, or they've been a victim of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm a victim.
And you know, I've learned how to do it from being on the side of it also, because clearly going to the UConn Jacks and not knowing who John Brezink was at the time, But I went to the Yukon Jacks in Colorado, and what I would always do against anyone I went up against is I would take their hand and I would grab it and I would pull their arm down before the match, and it would really piss them off. And but that was also me like working myself up, and that is totally an asshole thing to do for anyone that would do something like that. But I would do it. And I remember doing that to John Brezink and going and grabbing her and going to pull his arm down, and I just went, oh, I was like, holy shit. And he goes, very quiet voice is like, is that all you got? I'm like, well,
oh no.
So he totally set me straight, man. He gave me a good lesson in life right there. I think I stopped doing it as much after that.
Those are the best lessons, though, when something like that happens to you, when you have this bulletproof plan, and someone just ruins it, and you go, man, I was so good before that.
I mean, I attacked him as hard as I could possibly attack him, and I still gave it all I got, but, I became aware of that man's strength. It was freaking amazing.
Yeah, and what did that do? Like, what did that make you feel afterwards, like, when you got home and you went, oh, my God?
Just like everybody else in the sport of arm wrestling, I put that guy as, the goal is the guy to beat. Like, I got to beat that guy, and I just felt like I just pulled him and just like, just didn't move. I just like pulled, like everything. My weight was practically pulling. He was just locked in there. It's freaking amazing.
Did it get your brain going really, like, with training and new ideas and all that kind of, like, did it just set you on fire kind of, or?
It just made me realize that there's this whole other level of power out there. Granted, Brezink's technique is bar none, but the amount of strength that was in his arm to just like hold me as I just like pulled everything on him was just like that strength,
Yeah, insane strength, yeah.
So, all right, let me get through a couple more of these questions, and let's see here. Do you think that people from Game of Arms, did they get special treatment or favoritism in the WAL so far? That's from Derek.
No, I've gotten fouled out, man. So it's like, I wish that was the case. It's like, I don't think so. I mean, the refs do their job. It's like they didn't always like make the calls, but they're doing what they got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, and that's a hard, like we always say, the refs have the hardest job, of course. Like, anybody who's reffed a tournament knows that you're going to screw up. You know what I mean? Like, and you're always going to have people talk bad about you. That's the worst part about the whole thing, right? Like, if you have 150 entries, or 150 people show up to your tournament, you're going to ref 300 matches. You're going to mess up a few times.
Oh, yeah. I just want to, so it's like that's the angle of the arm wrestler. The arm wrestler that's been on both sides of reffing and arm wrestling, you need to know that, man. You got to realize like what that referee's dealing with, and you tax on whatever you can tax on as the athlete that wants to win that match.
Yeah.
I don't want to make myself sound like this man that looks out for every single advantage, but I look to win.
You have to. Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's not if you don't do it, somebody else will. So it's foolish not to.
That's exactly right. It's like.
Seth Barnett. I know you've pulled him a few times. Like he's one of the guys I look up to because he has mastered every referee's cadence. So he always goes just as they start to pronounce the G. So he's always the first one to go, always. And he's put a lot of work and effort into it. So he always beats me to the punch, and it's like I'm getting sick of it. So I started memorizing everybody's cadence too. You know what I mean? But it's like he put the work in, so he has a leg up on most of us.
Yeah, I remember Todd Hutchins would always do that too. He'd be like looking at the guy's lips. He'd be like this. Like, he's always doing that. And he had the mindset that, all right, I'm going to see it before I hear it.
Right.
Whatever split billionth of a second that is, that the sound is traveling to the ear. I don't think anyone's timing is that perfect.
Right.
Whatever. He trained himself to look at the lips because it's like, you know what? You're gonna flex whatever facial muscles before you say your go, and you're gonna train yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna pick up on. You'll see what comes before the facial muscles. It's like we can look at it analytically, and if you try to like analyze that in order to figure it out, you'll drive yourself nuts. So I'm gonna look for when his eye wrinkle goes on. That's what happens, man. It's like you do something enough, and there's this like subconscious. Knowledge that comes about from doing it
exactly.
Yeah, and we do that stuff as athletes too. Like it can almost be like a placebo effect. Where is it giving you anything in reality? I don't know, But if I feel better about it in that split second, I'm gonna do a little better at the table. It's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I think you're.
Go ahead.
All right, yeah, it's what I was going to agree with you because like boxers.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, well, one of us had to keep going, right? So it's like boxers slipping punches. They can't really necessarily tell you what they're picking up on, but they know when to move.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali used to say, "I got this radar built inside of me." That's the only way you could describe it. I have this radar built inside of me. And really, when you're at the table and you know what someone's going to do, that's really what it is. It feels like someone's like, "How do you think that fast?" I'm not thinking.
Yeah,
right.
It's not a magic trick. It's just there's something. If you like I've said before, if you put your hand on that hot stove, I don't think to take it off. Mm-hmm. It's no different for arm wrestling. For us,
right?
You do it years and years and years and years back to back, and it's just like it's almost first nature now.
Yeah, repetition is the mother of all learning, man. It's like
absolutely
it's just the way you do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, another thing to be said, it's like if Seth Barnett knows that he put all that time and effort into it, it's like when you know you trained one particular thing, it's almost like that gives you the right to go ahead and get that.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Train that, so he's going to be better at the go because he has earned the right to take that from you every single time.
Exactly. And he does too.
So now you got to earn yourself the right to take that from him.
I'm working on it, man. I got Harry Bean, Badger Drews, Bill Cox down, but I got a lot of work to do. So, I'm going to keep memorizing them. All right, let's see. I got a couple questions from Evan. He wanted to know what were some of your favorite matches, particularly the ones that didn't get shown on TV, and also what do you think the impact will be when more Eastern European pullers start entering the WAL?
I mean, the impact of... I'm going to take the last part over there because that's what's sitting in my head. There's a whole different sound. Like Nana said, I didn't know... Huge mistake on my behalf, not watching that guy arm wrestle. So there was the A side... there's two brackets at the WAL.
Right.
He was on the other bracket. I didn't even watch one match before him. I didn't even know that he was a 6'7" tall giant. I'm sitting there in the back just hearing that him and Todd Hutchins are having this long, crazy match. And I'm just like, yes, this is my year.
Right, yeah.
My God. Biggest mistake. It's a huge mistake. I didn't even watch that guy arm wrestle a match. I mean, I would have picked up something, like realized his levers that, I would have told myself, all right, I got to jump in.
Right.
I ain't do that. I didn't know the guy. It's like I didn't know the guy at all. I didn't know he existed, and obviously he's like a top dog, and then some in the sport of arm wrestling. So it's there's styles out there, and there's people out there, and I don't know their styles. It's like I know Todd Hutchins has this amazing inside hook, and his vulnerability is his hand. I know that about him. Mm-hmm. And now I know on his side, it's like he's got this amazing back pressure, huge arm, and it's like, the only way is to jump inside and power him.
Shorten it up a little bit, yeah.
And, that's the thing for the European. I mean, we've got a lot of versatility in the States, and we got all sorts, but it's knowing the specific guy has a lot to do with it. The specific guy at the top of the sport.
Well, people always bring up the Zoloevs and, Rustam, people like that, or Oleg Zok if they were to show up. So I think usually those are the names people throw out there when they're talking about Eastern Europeans,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it seems that the guys that came into it are guys that Neil Pickup, has
the Iron Wars crew
from ESPN as well.
Yeah,
so that's what came into the boiling pot. Yeah,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously they probably are going to do very well if they come over, but those guys have trained in the the WAF rules for a long time, and I do feel like there is a learning curve with the WAL stuff, and a lot of people get tricked by it, and they learn a little bit too slowly, and they end up getting out of the tournaments much faster than you would expect. I mean, like that other guy from I can't remember his name, Sanders from
Craig Sanders.
Yeah, Craig Sanders is a good example. Who's world renowned for his speed, and he looked like he was the slowest guy on the table in every one of his matches.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the Jedi. I forgot his name. The Latvian guy from the Jedi.
Giannis,
right, there you go. So he actually, first time he came to the WAL, he said, I'm not doing this crap again.
I remember that very well.
Yeah, and he came back. He was very happy that he made the decision to come back, and he won it. So it's like, it's the reality of things. It's like when you deal with something that you're not experienced with it, naturally, you're not going to like it because it's not what you're used to. Well, now you got a decision to make. You can sit there, complain about it, and walk away, or you can allow yourself to grow and learn with it. You got a decision to make, and some people are going to walk away, and some people are going to adapt and grow with it. You know, it's the rules have been put in place not for me. The WA wants this because they're trying to put out a product. Right. It's got to be a product that's going to go ahead and work for the public. Because you know what, arm wrestlers, if you don't have a public to watch you, it's not about the arm wrestlers. If you just sit, if you're about arm wrestling, go in your garage, train, and be the best arm wrestler in your garage. Okay, because and you can go by whatever rules you want. But if you want a public to back you and watch you and have a product to sell, well, now you got to go ahead and appeal to the public. And if the rules that are in place are to appeal to the public, adapt, grow, stop bitching, step up to the plate, and adapt and evolve. That's the reality of it.
It is the reality of it.
Yeah.
And I think that, little by little, I mean, people in the beginning were like, WL's not going to last. It's going to be a flash in the pan. But now, it's clearly not the case. I think people are starting to come around that, man, if I want to get serious about this, I better learn how to do it the WL way. And frankly, I like the starts. I think they're super fast. Tournaments go much more quickly. And I love the running fouls. I think it's the best thing. I always hate it when someone lifts their elbows to get out of a foul, a match they're losing. So I love the running fouls. I think there's a lot, and it's faster and it's more, it's more viewer friendly because the match isn't stopping all the time. I was just watching. I don't know if you ever saw it, but Travis Bajan versus Simarenko at one of the previous vendettas,
back in
and they didn't arm wrestle. They arm wrestled one time. It was it was best of 6 super match, and all the other matches they lost on fouls. They didn't arm wrestle once, and they almost punched each other out twice because everybody was getting so frustrated. But they only actually arm wrestled once because it was like foul.
Right, I got it.
And you don't have that in WAL, which I think is huge.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It has to appeal to the public. Me as an arm wrestler, do I like the running fouls? Honestly, I do not like the running fouls. Me as an arm wrestler, do I like not being able to get my grip? No, I do not like that. Okay, my style requires me to go ahead and get into the person's head and do what I like to do at the grip. It's been taken away from me. Okay, so it's like I've had to adapt. I ain't sit back and bitch say, "Oh, WRL sucks. I'm not going to do this because now I can't do what I usually do." I had to adapt. Okay, because I do understand exactly what Josh said, that we have to appeal to the public. Because if you want to be the best arm wrestler to all the people in your garage, great, run by your rules, man. But we need the public, and the public needs us because we are an awesome, entertaining sport that needs the public to know who we are and what we do. It's just that's what's got to be.
Yeah, definitely.
I hate running fouls, and I hate not being given the opportunity to get my grip. Obviously, if you know my style at all, I could get a lot of advantage by gripping up with that guy for 30 seconds and then the match starts. There's a lot that I learned in that 30 seconds, which has been taken away from me.
You're getting a lot of props for that commentary, Mike, because we have heard quite a few people say, "Well, I can't do WL because it doesn't mesh with my style." And you're right, it doesn't mesh with your style. So everything you said,
that's my style.
So, anyway, you're getting some props for that. All right, let me get a couple more questions in here. I'm going to combine a couple of these. So Derek Smith and Chase both asked questions that are a little bit similar. So basically, Derek wants to know, have you changed up your training techniques or frequency in order to stay on top throughout the years? And Chase, to add to that specifically, is asking about what do you do for your hand?
What do I do for my hand? You know what? I don't do as much as I should do with my hand. I'm blessed that I have a large hand. I'm lucky to have that. But lately, I actually started working my hand because, you know what? In order to turn somebody into the hook the way I'm going to need to turn somebody into the hook, you need a hand for that.
Yep.
Back pressure, you don't need a hand as much as people think. I seek to attack someone's hand.
Right. Your hope is for them to hold on to you.
Right. So I've started training my hand now because I need to change. I need to increase my versatility. I need to be the most amazing at back pressure. I need to be the best hooker as well. That's just what I got to do.
Yeah.
I've always hung with the best hookers, but I've never dominated the best hookers. So it's like that's where I got to be.
Yeah.
So I have been working my hand now. Started it.
Yeah, it's always tough to figure out.
Now, which I just started. Fat grips, rolling thunder, fat grips.
Yep.
I love those things. I'm like you, Mike, and I also have a big hand, so naturally, I spent a lot of time top rolling, and I'd say about 2 years ago, I finally started, because I was tired of getting crushed in hooks, working on it. And it's always we get this question constantly about what is the correct balance. I mean, if you prefer a style, like if you are a natural top roller, how much time do you really want to spend in the hook? I mean, is your goal to compete against hookers in the hook, or are you just trying to be good enough so that you'll be able to survive in it and, roll out doing the can opener and go back to the top roll? And it's,
the only time I'm going to rely on a hook is when I know that my back pressure is not going to beat the guy.
Mm-hmm.
If I know my back pressure, I know that Nanasat has this amazing, probably 3-inch advantage over the height of my arm. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be the better top roller. I got to angle him differently. And obviously, he takes the hands of hookers all the time. He trains to do that. I know what that's like.
Right.
Get it. But there's certain angles to a hook that I got to go ahead and develop in order to, take away back pressure.
Yeah, sometimes your weakest move might be, their kryptonite.
Yeah.
It's got to be good enough to be able to actually do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There is a kryptonite to his technique. I didn't see the match with him and Craig Tullier. I don't think it even got aired.
Yeah.
But right-handed, I imagine that Craig Tullier had to take out Nanasad in order for him to make it to the finals over there, because he was on that side of the bracket.
Yeah.
And I know the way Craig Tullier pulls, and I imagine that that's what I need to develop. I need to actually get on the phone with Craig Tullier and just kind of fish that information out.
Exactly.
Because he's an amazing puller.
Yeah.
He's got his own hook.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
for
got
sure.
Nice punching hook.
Yep. Yeah, he uses the elbow pad movement quite a bit to the side in his hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of guys don't. A lot of guys use it backwards, but they don't really go straight side through the chest, and Craig really does.
Yeah.
Hard.
He trains that. Yeah, he's got a lot of that. A lot of that.
Speaking of guys like Todd and Craig, Mike, I mean, obviously you must have pulled them dozens of times over the years, and you guys have all been at the top for a significant period of time. I mean, Craig has gone through a whole bunch of weight classes, but he seems to have settled in yours. I mean, what do you do when you're going up against him for the 30th, 40th time? I mean, do you have a game plan going in that you're going to try something different, or do you just say, I'm going to do my number one move and hope for the best?
I'm going to do the move that I caught him with last time and do it better than I did it last time. Because it's the plan is always to use your number one move to take out the guy.
Yeah.
I used my number one move against Nanasat and it didn't work. So it's I just got to kind of realize that I gotta hit a different angle.
Yeah, you got to polish your plan B up a little bit.
Yeah, right. I got to make the plan B plan A.
It seems like there's been a resurgence of the really tall forearm guys. I mean, Devin, obviously, but Matt Mask and Nanastad, it seems like there's a lot of guys with super tall forearms and relatively thin upper bodies that are dominating right now.
Yeah, there's definitely an advantage. I mean, Devil Lorette also, man. The guys. if a tall arm could be a disadvantage if someone uses that leverage against you.
Sure.
But a tall arm is a huge advantage. I mean, if you just get a nice post and you just kind of get all this height while staying vertically, it's a huge advantage. It's once you pick up on that angle of arm wrestling, you'll start realizing. That's why guys are gripping up and they're lifting their elbow. You're trying to get that height.
Right.
That height's an advantage.
Yeah.
So
I
had the thought of actually having surgery, sew my forearm and throw some mesh in there and just get an extension.
Yeah, definitely. That would help.
Right?
You'd probably be able to top roll that. I said that.
Yeah. I just got to find the surgeon. It's there's gonna be this whole other. There's gonna be liposuction. There's gonna be plastic surgery, and there's gonna be forearm extensions.
I know, seriously, forearm extensions.
Yeah,
I put in some metal cables. Take out my tendons and put in cables.
Just throw some titanium rods through the marrow.
Exactly.
Get the mesh around it.
Yeah, how hard is that? We're figuring it out right now.
We're figuring it out right now. It's leave your arm bent at a 90-degree angle. Whatever you do to fix it, just make sure I can't bend it past 90 degrees. You'll be a world champion.
Be the next orthopedist. So somewhere along the line, some orthopedist is going to have to become an arm wrestler.
Yeah.
Then he's going to do it. He's going to
do it.
Make it happen. Made his own surgery.
So there's another question from Jason. Well, I'm turning it into a question. It's actually a comment, but I agree with him. They basically were not calling false starts for the most part, at least what in the matches that we saw on television. So is that something that you like, or would you rather that they didn't allow so much carving and so much pressure before the go?
I'm not getting that question. You're saying they're not calling false starts?
Yeah, like on the for example, there were several matches where you could plainly see people were both carving prior to saying go. I mean, the one with Travis and Ryan Epstein was getting shared everywhere because Travis basically had him yanked up under his chin before they said go, and that happened. At least what we saw on television, I would say 4 or 5 times. There was clear, strong movement before the go that was not called. So I don't know if maybe you didn't experience that. I don't remember seeing that in your matches, but anyway, it's something that we saw quite a bit of.
Yeah, I mean, I think Travis is really good at training himself to be strong in a certain position, and then he's going to get in that position and sometimes successfully get away with it. If he's doing it before they go, that's even better. I mean, that's kind of what we're all practicing to do. So. And if your position puts your opponent in a bad position, then it's a 2-for-1, right?
Yeah.
So
what did you think of Travis?
What do I think of Travis?
I mean, what did you think of his performance specifically?
Oh my God, that guy trained his ass off to do what he did to beat Dave Chafee. I mean, he put forth the most laser focus that he has ever probably put in his career. You know, just to go after Chafee. He's analyzed it. He's told himself. Travis has always worked side pressure like crazy, and he's, really an amazing side pressure puller. And I think he just realized that, that side pressure is not going to take out Dave Chafee, and he realized he has to, get 10 times stronger in other positions, and he did do that. It's like, what is that position? Analyze it, figure it out.
It was amazing because not only his matches with Dave Chafee were so incredible, but also what he did with Jerry Cataret, because he had never beaten Jerry either. And he pulled some really cool stuff out to beat him, which I thought was it was just, Travis didn't do what he usually does. He's doing exactly what you're talking about next time you face Nanestad. He really just tricked him. And then he went back to Chafee, and the only person I've ever seen beat Chafee like that was, Pushkar when Chafee was injured last year or the year before at A1. But anyway, he obviously seemed really motivated by, his father passing and stuff like that, and he just didn't seem like anything was going to stop him.
Yeah, no, he totally took a negative life experience. I mean, someone losing their father is always a negative experience, but he took that experience and he allowed it to help him grow. I mean, did I hear correctly? He actually took his sledgehammer and he put it in his dad's casket?
Yes.
He did say that. So it's like there's a lot to be said about that action that he took. Right there, it's like there's a lot. But him against Cataret, I mean, I remember Travis pulling Jerry Cataret for $10,000 in Connecticut.
Right.
And I remember watching that match, just like, Travis took his hand all the way down to the pad, and just, when Jerry gets in like that, he's got his shoulder so nice, and he's gonna hold, and someone with the top roll that's coming back is gonna tire out. Before this guy with the shoulder is gonna, so it's like it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So Travis's back pressure does not work against Jerry Cataret's shoulder roll.
Right.
So I think Travis realized, and I'll tell you, I was screaming it in Travis's ear hard. I was you just gotta kind of
push,
match it. He's got scary side pressure. Jerry Cataret, scary side pressure. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is you got to match that scary side pressure. You have to, otherwise you're going to get stuck in that match. That's the shoulder. The shoulder's going to beat the back pressure that's hanging out. You can tire out first.
Yeah, I've had that conversation with Travis a couple times about him and Jerry. Where that back pressure move with that flop wrist, it almost helps the flop wrist because you're pushing. You're kind of opening up that direction. And Travis has always said, "Man, if I had the balls to do it, I should stand up there and push against his arm, and it will go." But I just, he goes, it's a lot of pressure, And it was nice to see he's been talking about this for 10 years of doing this.
Finally did it.
Yeah, right. Yep. So it was cool to see that.
The first time he did that move, the The first time he did it, he won it. He's just like, ow, he got that.
Yeah, it hurts.
Like, ow. But the next time he did it, it's like he just found that path like a little more easy to travel, where you don't have to actually use
high
this.
Pressure, right?
Yeah, there's like this angle where you can actually like alleviate that pain right off that golfer's elbow, epicondyle, whatever itis. Medial epicondylitis.
Yeah.
So, well, once you go to the surgeon and this guy, that guy, you get the technical name. That's what it is. But there's an open path, and and what he said verbatim, he's like, finally, he's like, I've been training that freaking move all my life. I finally freaking use it. Travis trains the shit out of his side pressure,
right?
But he never, just because, the logic is someone's got a weak hand, I'm going to use back pressure on it.
Yep.
But it doesn't work, man. It doesn't work. That's cataract.
Yeah.
You throw your shoulder on that so well because you're so.
Yeah, he's put his shoulder, his tricep, and his chest all in your bicep. It's gonna, when you can use that without a hand, your bicep's just going to not be able to withstand it after a while.
Yeah, I mean, I beat cataract once left-handed, using that move, and I was hurt. I mean, I was hurting for a while after doing it to him. I mean, I gave up way too much. It's like I was really out of commission with my left arm for a while after doing that, just because I was taking a lot more than my body was capable of handling. But I knew I had to do that, and I did it.
Yeah.
So I actually managed to beat him with that move. And I was screaming it down Travis, as you were also, apparently. Watch out, this cataract's coming after you. Now you know that, bro.
And that kind of brings up something cool that you were talking about that we haven't touched a whole lot on the show, but I think it's important. And I think you're probably one of the best examples to talk about with it, which is mental preparation. Thinking positive thoughts is always important for an athlete. Is that something that you do quite often? Visualization and all that?
Absolutely. Visualize, but it's not just the visualization, it's tying the emotion in with the visualization. Just really like letting that emotion burn as you visualize it and go through the actions. Just doing it over and over, day by day, just living it.
Yeah.
Like living the win, living the emotion of the win, living the feeling of holding up that hammer, living the feeling of like grabbing that stack of money. There's a lot more to us than we ever realize. There's more to this physical body. There's more that I can tap into, and that's only the start. That mental piece, the mind, is only the start of what we can actually tap. Anytime you get into a sport, you get an athlete that gets into a sport and he takes himself to the next level and the next level and the next level. You start searching. You start searching to take your physical body to the best, but then you start searching beyond the physical. So it's like it's an amazing opportunity to be able to get into the sport, to get to the top level of the sport, and to start up on that search to take yourself to those higher levels. Because I'm always seeking to tap beyond this what my physical body could do, and tapping into the mental is just the start of what is there for us to all tap into. Still learning.
Let me ask you this question, Mike. I've seen, I always feel that at the beginning of a match, you think you're going to win, period. And sometimes, when you have a loss, I see you stay at the table with your hand just sitting there, and so you're like kind of looking out into space. I always wonder what you're thinking about when that happens.
I just got smacked upside the head with a disgusting taste of reality. That's what happens. I mean, you tell yourself you're gonna win. You believe that. You fully embody it. And some people are afraid to say they're gonna win because they fear having to deal with losing.
Yeah.
So it's like having to deal with a loss after you've convinced yourself that you're gonna win is a lot harder. But my attitude has always been, if I'm gonna go for it, I'm going all out, man. I'm not going to hold back because I'm scared of getting my ass kicked. If you're going to step up to that table, then bring it all. Otherwise, don't step up to that table.
Yeah, it's a ego-driven bet, right? I mean, that's why people sometimes won't say, I'm going to win, because it's a bet. You just bet that you're going to win, and you might have to pay up if you lose. You look like Superman if you win, but sometimes you're not going to. And if you're really pushing yourself as an athlete, there's going to be times where you're not going to win. It's just the way it's going to be.
That's the reality, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to, as an athlete, it's like you got to be able to take that loss And some people are gonna take that loss and that's it. It's like they're not gonna handle that loss. And It's
Right.
like their career has ended because they put everything into it and they failed. And they walk away saying that I failed. We hear all the time. You start listening to some success stuff, and you fail only if you don't let yourself learn from that. So every time you lose, you take a lesson and you just grow. You just got to keep growing. I'm not going to stop growing. I'm going to stop losing, but I'm not going to stop growing. I want to start learning more and more from winning. That's what winning your game is.
That's the kind of problem you want to have, winning too much.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm making sure I'm getting to all these questions here. All right, here's one. Do you still train with Mike Aiello? And if so, what do you think about his progress? And how close is he to breaking through to that top level?
Mike Aiello is strong. Freaking, I wish I had the guy's physique, power, and all that length in his arm. I mean, he's getting away with more and more strength. His technique is coming. He should be able to beat Jerry Cataract easier than Travis beat Jerry Cataract. Mike Aiello's got the move to make that happen. He's got the strength and he's got the physicality to make that happen. And just like anything else, man, it's a matter of experience. I mean, Travis has been in the sport for how long?
Right.
And it's like this long to beat Jerry Cataract, to like have the confidence to like make that move happen. So his obviously his technique is still coming along. I mean, Mike Aiello is freaking crazy strong out there. So his progress is awesome.
Yeah. We get a lot of questions, especially when we're talking to someone who's been on Game of Arms, about what the rest of the team is doing. Like, people that we don't see so much anymore, like Rob Bigwood or Ethan,
Kevin
those
Nelson.
Guys. Yeah, well, Kevin was just down in Connecticut with
Yeah.
you.
How did he do? I didn't hear any results of that.
I think he crushed. Didn't he win?
Kevin Nelson? Yeah, he beat Seth Barnett.
Did he really? Wow, good job.
Yeah, he had a good match with Seth Barnett.
Nice. Was that right-handed or left-handed?
No, left-handed.
Wow, that's good. Because Seth's been on fire.
And then, Kevin, he actually pulled 2 weeks back-to-back. Because the next week he was in New York against Kenny Smith.
Right.
Kenny Smith is strong, but he didn't have the perfect rough clothes either. I guess we could argue, but that's always part of the game. I mean, he's going to have to learn off that also. Yeah. Kevin's got amazing defense, very low to the pad, and I'm just like, dude, you got to build up your strength here.
Yeah, right.
You got to build. If you can build the strength you got down here in the middle of the table, you'd be a whole different arm wrestler.
Yeah, not to mention you don't have to work so hard to get wins. Even if you can win from here, it's a lot more work. That's for sure.
Oh my god, yeah. So it's like just train everything you do to be strong here. Like just get it there.
Right. Yeah.
It's
let's see, we've kept you on it quite a while, but I usually like to at least, because your wife also arm wrestles, and, actually talked to quite a few people whose wife have at least dabbled in arm wrestling, but Deb is pretty serious, yeah?
Yeah, no, she's pregnant. She's pregnant right now, so it's
Congratulations.
Yeah, so she's got, we're doing in December, so she actually stepped into the higher weight class. She had a couple months in her. Is it, could people go ahead and judge, like, what are you doing, arm wrestling pregnant? You know what, she's always been working out. Doctor actually said, look, if you've always been doing it, it's not like you're going to, like, get into arm wrestling and you never did it before. It's like, you've been doing it all your life. So she had to step into the higher weight class. So she got herself right up against Fia. Fia freaking, she's
oh my God.
Right.
But
I don't want to arm wrestle Fia.
Like, she motivated me watching the way she trains and stuff, and all. Like, that's great. Like, I'm gonna change up my backyard according to hers.
Oh, seriously,
she's awesome. I love the way she trains.
She's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Deb. Like, when she gets into it, she gets serious.
Yeah.
She takes it serious, and she's got a crazy strong hand. And like her hand, awesome hand. She knows how to use it. Or she'll beat the average guy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think most of the people that we've spoken to liked the women's matches the best of the 4 shows. They just was something that was a little bit. I mean, they got to see, more competitors because they were, seeing 3 weight classes and 2 arms in one night. So I don't know if that had part to do with it. And plus, like you said, Fia's amazing. So I think a lot of people, resonated with her. But one thing that's great about the WEL that's really legitimizing the women's side of the sport, and I know people up here in Massachusetts are really hoping that's going to encourage, more women to come out and start pulling, so the classes will get bigger and bigger. And I don't know if, when we talked to Deb, we talked to Jody and Valerie Beach a couple weeks ago about it, and they all seem pretty excited. Do you feel like the women's sport has a larger potential to grow than our side of it?
It's got a larger potential to grow because of where it is right now. So absolutely, it has more potential. But I was talking with James Reed, who's the Northern director, and he put it straight. What would happen if you had an amateur man coming in that had to pull the top guys in the sport? It's like, what would happen if an amateur came in the sport and had to pull me, John Brown, and like some of the top guys? That's what happens to women. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have an open weight class for women. So it's like the girl that's coming out to get a taste of arm wrestling, she gets a taste of getting her ass kicked by the elite female of the sport.
Yeah.
So what has to happen is the directors, myself and other directors out there listening, we got to start putting out amateur women's weight classes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's we want to just do an open weight class because there's so few entries, but we got to publicize it and we got to put out the amateur women's weight class, and we can't be mixing up the pro women with the amateur women. It's not fair.
And it's really tough too, because a lot of times there'll be one weight class period. So it'd be like if I entered the class and I had to pull Tim Bresnan. It's like, man.
Imagine yourself just getting into the sport and having to pull Tim Bresnan.
Right.
That's what happens to these girls.
Yeah.
And they don't know how good they are or how good they could be.
Exactly
because
right. I 100% agree. I 100% agree with that.
James Reed is listening, and he just said that he's glad that you actually listened to him.
James is a smart guy, man. He calls himself a genius for a reason. He's a good guy.
Yeah, so... Well, I know you got a lot of stuff going on, Mike. We don't want to keep you forever, but this has been a lot of fun, dude. I really appreciated you coming on. I learned a lot.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, it was definitely fun talking to you again, Mike, since I moved away. Since I moved away and I ran away from the Northeast.
How far are you now? Where's Minnesota, man? I don't even know my geography. I gotta look at a map.
It's right next to Wisconsin, so I'm Midwest.
You're Midwest.
I'm Midwestern now.
Yep.
Right.
I'll be back for New England's though.
Yeah, you should come up for New England's, Mike. Have some fun.
When is it?
That's November 5th. I was actually just getting texts from RVJ. I was like, hey, you want a super match with Mike? I'm talking to him right now. And he's like, I don't know. My left is still...
We're going to the Mr. Olympia. I don't know. A couple of us middleweights are going down there. I don't even know what the heck.
Oh, really?
Nice.
It's the Mr. Olympia, what are we, September 15th? So that's going to be one of the first qualifiers. I want to go back to what you were saying, because you were saying that a lot of people are complaining that they don't know when these qualifiers are happening.
Yep.
I think that's a beautiful problem we got there.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's kind of a nice one.
Keep on complaining about it, because what's going to happen is the directors are all of a sudden that we're going to pour it out there, and then you're going to look at it and you're like, holy cow, there's 10 more qualifiers. But what we're going to do, to my understanding, if I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll figure it out by looking at it, the state qualifiers are going to run round one, and you're going to have the state champion for every single state, and that's basically what's going on now. It's light at the moment, and then after the state qualifiers, I would imagine that we're going to run the next set of qualifiers after that.
Right.
But every single state is going to have their one champion in each weight class that earns themselves that pass to make it to the regionals.
Yeah.
So it's like, talk to your local talk to your state directors. If you guys know who they are, those are you guys that are complaining, contact that state director. That's what you got to do.
I'm just going to make sure that I tell RVJ the wrong date, because we both live in Massachusetts. So I just want him to show up like on Sunday, and the tournament's on Saturday. That's what I need to have happen.
Good. All right, man.
All right, it's been real. Thanks a lot, man.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you. Does this